The worst possible mindset that you can live by is that's just who I am. One of my least favorite things to hear from people in my life is that that's just who I am. That's just what life is supposed to be. Just accepting life for what it is, accepting yourself for who you see yourself as and not what you're capable. It is such a limiting phrase. And it is, in a way, you just choosing the identity of the version of yourself that is not serving you. It's the one that lets you off the hook. It's the one that gives you the most relief. And it makes life the easiest in the short term and the hardest in the long run. And when you go through life believing a disempowering story about yourself, you create a reflection of your beliefs. You are going to create a life equal to what you believe about yourself. And it's never, that's just who I am. And it's always, that is just what I'm choosing. And your life is going to be the sum of what you choose to believe about yourself. So many people come to me telling me how lucky I am for getting to do what I get to do, for traveling all the time, for being a personal coach at a young age. But it was not luck that created this life. It was the belief that I'm the kind of person who creates this kind of life. I am the kind of person that shows up for myself to create this kind of life. Most of my family doesn't really consider themselves lucky. And if you look at my upbringing, I lost three of the most important men in my life: my father, my uncle, both at 37, and my grandfather a few months before his retirement. Men in my life have really passed away at a very young age and an unexpected time. And as I was born, I almost died when I was born as well. I had 5 blood transfusions. I have a hole in my heart. I had multiple injuries because of baseball. And there was never really a time in my life where I felt safe or like I knew what was going to happen. I never felt very certain. My future looked absent when I got injured from baseball. And when I hit rock bottom, I knew that there was really only one direction to go. And I realized that me being lucky had everything to do with what I choose to believe and nothing with my actual circumstances. Because if I look at my actual circumstances of my life, growing up with a single mother and not having things figured out and not really having any kind of certainty, you could probably tell me that I'm an unlucky person, and I would have a lot of evidence to reinforce why that's true. But if I look for evidence to reinforce why I'm a lucky person, well, I'm going to find that evidence as well. But you're going to get what you look for in your life. And I let my future drive my present, not my past or my present. And most definitely not my opinion of either. Because what I choose to believe and what is actual truth are most of the time probably going to be different. Because right now, my life is a reflection of not who I am. It's a reflection of who I have chosen to be up until this point and who I'm actively choosing to be every single day. And your life is going to be the same. If you want to become a lucky person, it starts with choosing that you are a lucky person. It starts with choosing that that belief is actually true. Because you're going to get what you look for in this life, and whatever you believe to be true is going to be a reflection of that belief. You're going to show up in ways to believe that I'm a lucky person. If you don't believe you're a lucky person, you're not going to take the action that a lucky person would take. You're not going to put yourself in positions to create more luck because why try anyway? It's not going to work out. And just holding that belief and recognizing that you are not just who you are. Your life isn't just what it's supposed to be. It's not, it is what it is. It's what you're choosing to allow it to be. Man, I wish I recognized this earlier in my life, because I could say that, oh, I could have been so much further along. But man, I'm so grateful that I recognize this now, is that it's not just who you are. What you're choosing to accept in your life, whatever your current circumstances are, is a reflection of what you've just chosen to believe about yourself for so long in your life. And as children, we're taught to push ourselves down and choose to believe things that are disempowering because we have a lot of disempowering stories around us. We have a lot of unconscious people, unhealed people that helped us grow into the person that we are today. It's likely true that the person that you are today is not the kind of person that you really want to become. It's the reflection of your life right now is not the reflection of your life that you want to create in your life. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video. And I think recognizing that it's not just who you are. It's not just the life that you're supposed to live. The life that you're currently living is not just the life that you're supposed to accept. The person that you are is not just the person that you're supposed to accept, but it's recognizing that you get to choose who you desire to be every single day. You get to choose the way that you show up for yourself. You get to choose the beliefs that you have about yourself that determine your actions, that determines your results, that determines right back into your beliefs that you have about yourself. And it's not just who you are, but it's who you've chosen to be for so long that you've made a habit of being that kind of person, of showing up as a kind of person that you probably don't want to show up as, and creating the results that you probably don't want to create for yourself. But it's not just who you are, it's who you're choosing to be. And that might be passive and it may be active. Most people are going through life as just passively being who they think they are, just accepting who they think they are, just accepting what they think they deserve. And it's never real truth. It's just what they've chosen. But you have to look at the people that you surround yourself with and the people that really created the beliefs that you chose about yourself growing up. If you have a lot of people in your life, family, let's say, for example, that are not living the kind of life that you want to live, why would you ever take advice from them? Why would you ever take advice from people that are not where you want to be in your life? You probably shouldn't. You probably wouldn't, but you actively do on a day-to-day basis, just choosing the same beliefs that they chose to create the same life that you have created. Your life is going to be a reflection of those beliefs. And so if you don't choose to believe something different about yourself or choose something different about the world, just be optimistic, you're never going to create it. Because this is the truth about pessimism and optimism. Pessimists choose to be right? But optimists choose to create a future that maybe they're wrong a lot of the time, but the one time they're right makes up for all the times that they were wrong. Optimists choose to believe in something bigger, and pessimists choose to accept what they've gotten. And I don't know about you, but I want a lot more than what I've seen through most of my life. And I've been able to create it in such a short amount of time just because I chose to believe that that option is a possibility and chose to believe that that's just not what I'm going to accept. I remember I worked at Apple, and there was one time that really, this moment of my life will be forever in my brain, that I walked into the store one day, and it was just one of those days where I didn't feel like showing up. I mean, who wants to show up to customer service? I don't. And I walked into the job, and there was a guy there that had been there for longer than I've been alive. I was there for, I don't know, a year, and he'd been there for like 21 years. I probably was there for less than a year because I was only at the job for a year. So yeah, definitely less than a year. And I was like, man, I just don't feel like being here today. And he goes, you just get used to it. And in my brain, it felt viscerally, it felt so wrong. And a couple days later, I put in my 2 weeks, and I never went back because it felt so wrong to me that it was the awareness and the awakening that I needed to recognize, no, that's not the life I'm going to accept. It's not just who I am. I don't just get used to it. You're choosing that life, and I'm not going to choose that life. And a lot of us are unconsciously choosing the life that we don't want because it's relief from the work that we have to do in order to create the life that we do want. But that's not just who you are. It's just you letting yourself off the hook from doing the work to actually create the life that you want, from you facing the failure that you're going to have to face, from you facing the things that you don't really want to face in order to create the life, because we know that it takes a lot of work. But we choose our hard. We choose a life that we want in our life at the end of the day. And if you're willing to believe that there is no other option, that you will make it happen, that's not just who you are, that's who you've been choosing to be, then I'm pretty certain that you'll create the life that you want. But at the end of the day, you're going to accept the life that you create, that you choose to create, but know that it is a choice, and know that you are actively creating the life that you're accepting, that you are the main component, that you are the problem, that in every single problem in your life, the common denominator is you. And so if you're not where you want to be in your life, or it's just not working out the way that you thought it would, it's not just who you are, it's just what you're accepting. That's just what you've allowed to happen, because you are the common denominator. And that's okay. Having compassion for yourself is the best approach out of that mindset, because beating yourself up is never going to lead you to creating an empowering future. But recognizing that you have to be the one to make the change, well, that's pretty empowering, but it's also scary as hell. And so I understand that where you are right now probably isn't where you want to be. I mean, we're all improving. I'm definitely not at the place I want to be at my life, but I'm so dang grateful that I am where I am, because I allowed myself to recognize that, hey, I'm always going to be the kind of person that's not just who I am, but I'm actively becoming the best version of myself. That has allowed me to create the life that I have created thus far, where I get to travel whenever I want to. I just got back from Argentina and Chile and Peru and Austin, Texas, and just allowing myself to create the life that I wanted to create for my life for so long. But it felt like for so long it wasn't happening because I believed that I'm not deserving of that life. And I've recognized that I'm more than deserving, and you're more than deserving of whatever life that you want to create for yourself. But you have to let go of the belief that the life that you're currently living and the things that you've currently created is just who you are and just what you're worthy of. Just isn't true. But it's just you letting yourself off the hook from doing the work to actually create that kind of life. So hopefully this was an awakening that you needed to kind of recognize that, hey, I've probably been letting myself off the hook a little bit too much, and just placing this belief that I'm not like them, that they're just capable of that and I could never, is just really you just letting yourself off the hook, can give you the awareness that you need to take the action that you need in order to create that life for yourself, because you are more than worthy and you're more than capable. But you have to start choosing that belief.